Ladies and gentlemen, lend me your ears and your eyes. Diva Divine Light, live from Brooklyn, New York.
Know your lane for what you saying, yo. Sit it with my 9 million with the dilly, yo. When I be on the mic, yes, I do my duty, yo. While up in the club, I be while in the studio. You don't wanna violate, nigga, really and truly, yo. My main thug, nigga named Julio, he moody, yo. I'm a nigga that'll slap you with the toolie, yo. Bitch, nigga scared to death, act fruity, yo. Fuck that, look at shorty, she a little cutie, yo. The way you shake it, make me wanna get all in the booty, yo. With no delaying for what you saying, yo.
Diva Divine Light.
Really my heart to me. Fuck me, see this what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fuck me, see this what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you.
You're watching Diva, the Divine Light. A fun-loving, caring, passionate person who talks about sex, celebrity, and real-life issues, and even abuse. So hit that like button and make sure you share the show.
Really my heart to me. Fuck me, see this what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fuck me, see this what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fuck me, see this what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fuck me, see this what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you.
Here comes the pitch, and it comes in wide. On the combo.
Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right with you. Yo, 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 yo. Microphone check. Microphone check. Can everybody hear me loud and clear? Do I sound good? Give me a thumbs up in the chat, please. Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. Good evening. I hope everybody's doing great out there. Well, God. All the stuff the things I be seeing, I don't know. I'm just I'm confused. I'm tired. Um, this is like on repeat all the time. I'm tired of the repeat, guys. I'm tired of the repeat. Levi, you crazy. R. Kelly's not getting out of jail because of WAC 100. That's not going to happen. You said today, mark your words, on this day, July 17th, 2023, that R. Kelly will be released and walking out the doors soon, real soon, like tomorrow, right? hmm I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. This is not happening at all. And whack 100. Let me school you, brother. Please let me school you, brother. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a rocket scientist. I don't have degrees. I don't even have a GED. Okay? Um but I do have common sense. I do know how to read. I can comprehend. I might not understand law jargon, but I'm no dum dum or nobody slow on the slow bus like these other people, and they trying to drag you in this. It's really crazy. So, and Kwame Brown, I mean, oh God, listen, R. Kelly is not in jail for being a player. He's in jail because of sexual exploitation, okay, of children and women, minors and women. Okay? Okay. He's got a long way to go. He's not getting out. His appeal is going to be denied. Okay? All right. All right. As far as the email situation goes, um, well, you can sue the BOP and he can sue the officer, I guess, right? For violating his privacy rights, right? But I don't think anybody's going to jail. No, no, not on that. No, not at all. No. But he can sue. And good luck to him. But I don't think he'll be winning that either. So, yeah. hmm hmm That's what's gonna happen. That's it. That's all. So now, today, for the millionth time, I will be breaking this down. I mean, really. Um, we're gonna talk about the RICO, okay, and what R. Kelly was charged with, and how the charges go into a RICO, okay. So let me say hello to the peoples in the chat. What's up, my family in the chat? OCOV crew in the building. What's up to everybody? And to all those that are in the bushes, those bush babies, bush watchers, hello. If you are my newfound friends, please jump in the chat. Say hello to everyone. Introduce yourselves. Thank you. And I'm glad everybody's here. This is on repeat, guys. we all know what the hell is going on, but some people don't, and we have newfound friends. So I want everyone to understand what's going on this side of the Rkelly sector. So let me say what's up to my peoples in the chat. My girl Indigo, what's up, baby? How are you, honey? Haven't seen you in a while. Please drive safely. My Nanya, what's up, baby? What's up, my love? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Shorty Rara, what's up, Shorty? T-Bam, what's up, baby? Purple, purple, my love, what's up, lady? What's up, Pira? Pira, pira. ¿Cómo estás, mamacita? Rockin'. Rockin' with the truth, as always. What's up, baby? Who else? Too blunt for you. My Virgo sister in the building. My loca, loca. Bev Davis, what's up, baby? Long time, baby, long time. What's up, ladies? What's up, everybody? Aisha, what's up, lady? How are you doing, mammy? What's up, mommy? Icy, what's up? What's up, baby? True strong warrior. Warrior. What's up, babe? My beautiful ladies in the building. What's up? Yes, please like and share. Don't forget to hit that like button, please. Thank you. Don't forget. Gracias, gracias. Hit it on your way in so you don't forget. You're in the bushes. Please hit that as well. Injustice, Free Rkelly. What's up, bro? How are you? No, he won't. But that's okay. That's your opinion. That's my opinion, right? I don't think he's going to be free, but you think he's going to be free. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You want him free. I get it. It's okay. You know what? That's you, honey bunch. Like, that's you. It's how you feel. That's how you feel. You know I don't feel that shit over here. You know I'm real strong with that shit. Punch Rkelly in his eye a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, injustice, you can hang out over here. You cool as long as you don't get disrespectful, okay? Just understand that. You know that my sisters over here will chop your ass in a second, okay? They'll delete you first just to remove your comment and remove your comment and remove your comment. 3 strikes you out, right? So we'll give you 3 strikes. Over here, we're going to give you 3 strikes, okay? So when you come in, you say something. See how you said Robert is the king, soon be free? That's cool. That ain't disrespectful. I don't have a problem with that. That's your feelings, bro. It's okay. I don't mind that. Just don't come over here disrespecting the victims or disrespecting me or disrespecting anybody in my chat. Okay? Because then you will be blocked. And you'll be blocked for a little while. You'll be in jail. And then I might let you go and you'll come back. You know? You've been in jail for a little while and you came out. So don't act a fool and you won't go back to jail. All right? All right. Hold on 1 second, please, if you don't mind. All right now. So, did you get that? You just bring me the facts. No. You don't bring me facts. You bring me conspiracy theories. It's okay. You could come with your conspiracy theories. It's okay. Because those are your opinions. You listen to the people you want to listen to. Okay. But over here we speak the truth. But, you feel one way, we know the other. Okay? All right. Free in about 20 years. No, 27, Peter. 27, I think, Peter. 26, 27 years, something like that. See, over here, we can, I don't mind, we can have our comments, our opinions. We can say what we want to say. As long as we don't get crazy in the chat and disrespect each other, everybody can have their opinions. It's okay. okay. I don't mind the opinions. What I don't like is the disrespect. I don't care if you come into my chat and have something to say. It's your right. This is a free platform, yo. Okay? And I like to engage in conversation, not just with us, but the other side too. We all know that some of them are ding-dings and dum-dums and real groupies. Like, we know who they are. We know what to do with them. Over here, we good. So let's see what anybody said over here. Let's see. TBM said, Diva, don't let YouTube groupies stress you. No, they never stress me, mamita. I don't let them people stress me, girl. If he thinks serving 27 years will be Buzz Lightyear. Right, Buzz Lightyear. Right, I refuse to watch all that ish. Okay. Rocket said, we already marked his words 20 times for the release. I thought his 900-page letter was going to get his cousin out. Yeah, I thought so too. Wasn't that like 2 years ago? Right. And he's still in there, right? Right. Gotta make that known. Welcome, sure thing. Every day he's locked up is a good day. Okay. That's a sure thing. Okay, I agree with you, sure thing. Welcome, sure thing. How are you? Are you part of the Wabbit crew, yo? Say what's up if you're part of the Wabbit crew. Let me know you're part of the Ears TV crew. And welcome, Papi. Welcome. Or her, him, whoever you are. Kayla! What's up, Chuleta? Yeah, yeah, T-Bam, I'm done with the bullshit too. Hey, honey bunny. What's up, my honey? Hi, baby. She said my old ass might not be so nice because I'm completely over the bullshit and the lies. Robin, I'm feeling the same way, my love. Okay. Okay. Yeah, me too. We're done. We're through. Like we done, but there's still more to be done because a lot of people in these YouTube streets really don't understand why R. Kelly's in jail. It's retarded already. I can't. For those that are already in this sector who have been through debates and fought with everyone out here on YouTube, because, some people just don't get it. Sure thing, I'm for the victims too, my love. How are you, honey? Welcome to the channel. Please enjoy the commentary. So, now what I wanted to do, y'all know me, I come with receipts. Hold on. Let me see if I could share my screen because my screen has been my window sharing has been kind of weird lately. Like it's not letting me share what I want to share. Hopefully it'll do it. All right, guys. Let's see. Do you see what's on the screen here? Okay, so it popped up, right? All right. All right. All right, guys. Now, can you guys see it clearly? It doesn't look distorted or anything. Like you guys can see it clearly. Does it look blurry or anything like that? As I hate that it looks blurry sometimes when I'm looking it on my screen, on my TV. Kayla, mommy, let me give you your wrench back too. Girl, that fake crying shit is retarded. He does that all the time to the girls. That's why he would get the girls with that crying. And they would go, oh, but I can't, we love you, puppy. I know you're sorry. We're sorry too. Like, that's how he played on them, man. That's how he played on these girls, and he's playing on these people in these streets. Thank God Bonjean just put a stop to him talking. Word up. Because he needs to sit down somewhere and shut the fuck up. All right, so guys. Oh, it's clear? Okay, baby. Thank you, Peter. Now, this is the original indictment. Okay. R. Kelly got hit with 3 indictments, right? Because they were superseded twice. Okay. Superseding means that they added on to the original indictment. So the original indictment all of a sudden gets lost in the source, and then they go with the superseding indictment, right? But his indictment got superseded again. So now he has 3 indictments. So they take away the first indictment and the second indictment. And the third indictment is the final indictment, which they label as the indictment. Indictment. Okay. So what I'm going to show you guys here is the original indictment, where it came out on July 12th of 2019, when R. Kelly was officially arrested with these charges. Okay? July 12th of 2019 is when R. Kelly was arrested. He was put into the holding jail for pretrial services. He was in the detention center. Okay? He wasn't in prison, he was in jail. Okay? So now, hold on one second, guys. My son's here. Let me tend to my baby. Hold on.
I don't know where I got this.
Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So, as I was saying, I'm going to read just the gist of the indictment. Okay. So now the government, of course, they're the ones who come forth with the indictment, because there was a grand jury before this. Okay. And the grand jury usually decides if they will go forward with the charges, because there's a hearing, a special secret hearing called the grand jury, where it's just 12 people, the lawyers, the judge, and any of the witnesses for the prosecutors. And they present evidence and they show it to the grand jury. And then the grand jury makes a decision if they should go forward with the case or not. So obviously, there was enough evidence presented to go forward with the indictment. So now they say, Dear Judge Donnelly, Judge Donnelly, she is the judge in the Eastern District of New York. She is a federal judge. Okay. So your son came over with the thing. Sorry, guys. So now It says the government respectfully submits this letter in support of pretrial detention of the defendant Robert S. Kelly. For the reasons set forth herein, the court should order that the defendant be detained pending his removal to the Eastern District of New York and trial because he cannot overcome the presumption that there is no combination of conditions that would reasonably assure his continued appearance in this case or protect the safety of the community where were he to be released. As set forth below, the charges in this case are extremely serious. The defendant is charged as the leader. He is being charged as the leader of a racketeering enterprise engaged in a pattern of racketeering activity spanning 2 decades. That means 20 years, involving the sexual exploitation of children, as well as coercing and transporting women and girls to engage in illegal sexual activity. Now, once again, it's sexual exploitation of children, coercion, and transporting women and girls to engage in illegal sexual activity, kidnapping, and forced labor. This is what he's being charged with. Then it says, if convicted on all counts, the defendant faces the prospect of spending decades in prison. Given the strength of the evidence in the case and the substantial prison sentence that the defendant faces, the defendant poses a significant flight risk. Now, that's why they didn't give him bond, because he posed a significant flight risk. And the reason being that he skipped out in 2002. He got wind that they were going to pick him up. He skipped town with his wife and family and went all the way to Florida. They wound up picking him up. They were looking for him from June until, I think she said, when was the baby born again? When was the baby in 2003 born? Oh my God, I don't remember what month the baby was born. Little Robert was born in 2003. That month is when the cops got him in Florida. He was running from the law for a couple of months. Let's not forget that. Okay? Let's not forget that. Andrea explained that and what happened. She said he came, his boys came, they told me I had to pack and I had to just go, and we went on the bus and I didn't know what to do. I was pregnant. I couldn't go anywhere. The doctor told me I was getting ready to give birth. I was scared. I got over there to the house. Then I wound up in the hospital. I gave birth. Robert didn't care. He came the following day. He missed his son's birth because he was running from the law. Like he said to Demetrius Smith, I'm an outlaw, man. He said it himself. Demetrius Smith, in the book we were reading, I read that. Demetrius said he called them extremely, he didn't know what to do. He was an outlaw. And he's like, Robert, just, I don't know what to do for you. I can't help you. That's what he told him. I give up. I can't help him no more. That's it. I'm done. He did too much. Then it says, as his past interactions with the criminal justice system have failed to deter the defendant from continuing to engage in serious criminal activity. Now, what they're talking about there is because of the fact that he got off in 2008. His trial, he was waiting for trial to happen for 6 years. And in those 6 years, he was still doing serious criminal activity. Remember, 2006, he was hanging out with little Lewis. He was hanging out with little Lewis and little Alex. In 2006, Rkelly was still waiting for his trial. His trial happened 2 years later. He was not supposed to be around any minors because those were the conditions of his release under his bond of $750,000. That's why the government this time around said no bond. Sit your ass down and wait. You'll be all right. The defendant is also a danger to the community. Finally, as set forth below, the defendant's release also presents a serious risk that he will attempt to obstruct justice and threaten and intimidate potential witnesses. He personally didn't himself, but his little flying monkeys did. We had Don Russell, we had Michael Williams, and we also had Richard Arline. And anybody else in between that was DMing these girls and threatening them. Okay? Including his entourage. And a lot of times his entourage are his flying monkeys. Okay? Including his biggest stands out here on YouTube. Okay? So now, they're going to talk about the factual background. Okay? So in this factual background, it states that on July 10, 2019, a grand jury in the Eastern District of New York returned a 5-count superseding indictment, charging the defendant with racketeering in violation of 18 U.S.C. 1962C and 1963. Now that is part of the racketeering, okay? 1962, that code has to do with the RICO. That's part of the RICO. That's the code for the RICO, okay? And 1963. And it says involving 11 racketeering acts, okay? So it's 11 racketeering acts. Count 1 is 2 counts of Mann Act transportation to engage in illegal sexual activity in violation of the 18 U.S.C. 2421A. Okay? So that's the code for the Mann Act, which is sex trafficking. Okay? The first one has to do with him being an enterprise. So 1962 has to do with being an enterprise, okay, and doing criminal activity, okay, under the racketeering laws. And then you have Mann Act, which is the transportation to engage in illegal sexual activity. And that law is 2421A. And that has to do with sex trafficking. Okay? So let's understand that. I want everybody to make sure that they understand that. Okay? Then counts 2 and 4 and 2 counts of Mann Act, coercion and enticement to engage in illegal sexual activity in violation of the 18 U.S.C. 2422, counts 3 and 5. Okay? And that also has to do with sexual exploitation of minors. Okay? Or sexual exploitation, period. Okay? Because you could be a minor and you could be a woman. It doesn't matter. You can be sexually exploited as a minor or an adult. It goes for both, male and female. Then it says, as charged by the grand jury, for over 2 decades, the defendant was the leader of a racketeering enterprise. The enterprise. The enterprise comprised of individuals who served as managers, bodyguards, drivers, personal assistants, and runners for the defendant. Now, I know a lot of people are like, okay, so where are all these people in this indictment? Where is the manager? Where is the bodyguard? Where's the driver? Where's the personal assistant? Where are his runners? How come it doesn't say Rkelly and 30 other people? Right? I know that's what a lot of you guys are saying. You guys are like, don't understand why isn't that a lot of these people were not arrested with him. Well, let me explain to you. The reason why is because a lot of them were just doing their job. A lot of them, now you have to remember, this enterprise wasn't really like a mob enterprise where they were doing criminal activities as far as money laundering and gambling and murder and things of this nature, right? That's not, this case is not like that. This case is a criminal case for someone who is a sole proprietor, okay? He owns this business. He is the enterprise. He is the leader of the enterprise. Without him, there would be no enterprise, okay? So all these other people, as we know, the little squid, the octopus, right? The octopus, right? They actually had drew out a whole enterprise into an octopus. Okay? Rkelly did this. His people did this. Okay? To show who are the heads and who's underneath. They built the commission. Okay? That is an enterprise. Rkelly is the head. He's the leader. He's the man. He's the boss. Though nothing's supposed to go through without him knowing or without his say so. Okay? So let's get that shit right. Now, Rkelly had all these people doing things for him and was lying about things. No, she's 18, man. She's not a little girl. You're bugging out. She looks young because she is young, but she's not that young. She's 18, man. Let her through. Oh, and how old are you, sweetheart? I'm 15. Oh, okay. Well, shh. Just, anybody ask, you're like 19, okay? But act like you're 20, all right? Okay. Shh. We could hang out and party. And then later on, I'll give you my hotel room key and you can meet me over there. All right. And I'll make sure We can hang out and I'll take care of you. Whatever you need, I'll give you money. I'll buy you a dress. Or you know what? Here's just $1 for your trouble. And a lot of these people that were working for him were flying monkeys. A lot of them did turn a blind eye and say, I don't know, but that girl really, like, listen to the way she talks, the way she sounds, a lot of them didn't even hear the girls talk at all. How about that? Because they weren't allowed to conversate. Every so often, the girls would break his rules and conversate with people. They would. They did. We've read books. We've listened to interviews. They have. They did. They broke rules and they got punished. And punishment was humiliating for them. Here it is, grown-ass girls and women being punished like children, like little children. Because yes, minors are still children. Teenagers are still children at the end of the day. My daughter's a teenager, my son is a teenager, and those are my children. But they're teenagers. But they're my children. They're still children. I don't care what anybody fucking says. They're still children. Excuse me, let me get water. So these people were doing biddings for him and not realizing that they were committing crimes. So a lot of these people did not get locked up. But you know what they did do? They testified against Rkelly. That's what they did do. So they said, you know what? Because these people were just doing their jobs, we're going to subpoena all of them. Whoever we can find, whoever we can get. That pertains to these years and times that these crimes were being done. They investigated everybody in his entourage. One person led to the other, and the other led to the other, and the other, and the other. And they got testimony and statements and statements and statements and statements. Then they figured out who they were going to use to sit there and point their finger at Rkelly and say, yes, that's the guy. Yes, that's the one. Yes, he made me do this. Yes, I did that for him, because of him. So let's understand that. All right. So along with promoting the defendant's music and the Rkelly brand, right? Because this was his company. This is the reason why he has this enterprise, right? It's for his business, right? It's to use his enterprise to help him with his music business. His personal assistants to handle his appointments and getting his personal needs, and his runners to go get food and answer the phone and grab that girl, grab that guy, and run here and run there and get me coffee and bring me food and things of this nature, right? Then you got the drivers, the Uber guys, the tour bus guys. Then you got his bodyguards. And then you got the managers that help him run the musical side of the business. His money, the tours, paying everyone, him signing documents and things of this nature. Taking care of hiding his videos, paying people off to shut the fuck up. Things like this. Then it says the enterprise recruited women and girls to engage in illegal sexual activity with the defendant. So the bodyguards and the runners were there in his concerts, at his venues, on the tours, handing out his phone numbers on a piece of paper. One of the runners actually said that their job was to sit there and write down Rkelly's phone number on pieces of paper and then ripping them up and folding them so that when he would do his concerts, the guys would have these folded up numbers of Rkelly's inside their pockets and would go wherever Rkelly would say. He would point over there, and his bodyguard would run to that girl in that corner and give out that number. That's how it worked. So therefore, his bodyguard, his runner, didn't realize that he's giving his number to a little girl because he ain't really asked for no ID. They don't really ask for ID. Every so often, there was an ID looked at. It wasn't all the time. Okay, let's get that right. It wasn't all the time. So now he's giving out these numbers because he's telling his peoples, make sure you write my number and you give it to the girl I point to. That's the girl right there. And he's going to give it to her. And then he's going to tell her what? After the show, meet him backstage. Okay. Ooh, I'm going to get Rkelly's autograph. Ooh, yay, yay. She's not thinking about sex. She's thinking about, oh my God, I'm going to get Rkelly's autograph. She's not thinking about sex. These are his fans coming to his show to see him. And he's taking advantage of his fans. The younger ones. Not the older ones, but the younger ones. He's giving it to both, young and old, but he's making sure he deals with the younger ones, though. You see where that goes? So the enterprise recruited women and girls by doing that, handing out those numbers and the girls going over. That's recruitment. And then once he got the girls, the ones he wanted, he made them engage in illegal sexual activity. Then it says often transporting victims throughout the United States for this purpose, as we know it to be the Mann Act. Now, this sexual activity was often filmed and photographed by the defendant, including sexually explicit depictions of minors constituting as child pornography. Okay? As alleged in the indictment, the defendant promulgated numerous rules that many of his sexual partners were required to follow, including that the women and girls would call him daddy. They had to call him daddy. Even the boys had to call him daddy. Okay? Even Don Russell had to call him daddy. Okay? They were not permitted to leave their rooms to eat or visit the bathroom without receiving his permission. So as we know, they weren't allowed to leave their rooms. If there was no rooms, no bathroom in the rooms, and even if there was a bathroom in the room, if he told them you couldn't use the bathroom, they weren't going to use the bathroom. Some of them just had to pee in a cup in the room where they were at, or in a bucket. He said they said that they were required to wear baggy clothing when not accompanying Kelly to an event. So whenever they had to go outside, they had to wear baggy clothing. They weren't allowed to dress the way they normally would dress. He made sure that their bodies were covered up, that their bodies weren't showing. And he also directed them to keep their heads down and not to look at other men. They weren't allowed to talk to other men or look at other men. Kelly also isolated the women and girls from their friends and family, where he told them, I don't want you talking to that girl. I don't think she's for you. She's not your friend. Don't talk to her no more. And if I catch you talking to her, I'm going to fuck you up. And I don't want to hear about your family members. You're not allowed to talk about them in the house. I don't want to hear about none of them. These were the things he did. It was brought out in testimonies. The defendant also maintains his leadership and control of the enterprise by demanding absolute commitment from its members. Remember his words, guys? What was his favorite words to everybody? Type it in the chat if you remember what's his words to everybody when he expects absolute commitment from his members. What's his famous words? Y'all remember? Y'all remember what he would say? What would Rkelly say? Are you with me? Are you with me or are you against me? Thank you, Nexie. Are you with me or are you against me? Because you should really think about it. You know, things happen to people. He said things like that too. People come up missing. He said that too. Not tolerating dissent and obtaining sensitive information about members and associates of the enterprise in order to maintain control over them. So he would get their IDs, their addresses, personal information about them. He would also have them write collateral letters, lying and saying that they stole from him or they did something to him and that's the reason why this happened and that happened, and so forth, so forth. Now, the crimes charged in the indictment took place throughout the United States, including New York, Connecticut, Illinois, and California. The racketeering acts and substantive crimes charged in the indictment relate to 5 different victims, identified in the indictment as Jane Doe number 1 through Jane Doe number 5. Now, in this original indictment, there was only 5 Jane Does. Okay? Detailed below is a proffer of certain facts related to the 5 identified victims. Now look, the grand jury returned the original indictment on June 20th of 2019. The indictment adds a criminal forfeiture allegation. All right, now, Jane Doe number 1. The defendant met Jane Doe number 1 on or about 1999 when she was 16 years old. After another member of the enterprise approached her at a fast food restaurant and informed her the defendant wished to speak with her. Thereafter, while Jane Doe number 1 was a minor, under 18 years old, the defendant filmed their sexual intercourse on multiple occasions, thereby creating child pornography, using materials that had been mailed, shipped, and transported in interstate and foreign commerce. So we all know, right, that Rkelly would carry a bag full of videos. He would carry his book bags with his iPads and his telephones and things of this nature, right? He would even carry an audio recorder as well. He did these types of things throughout the span of the years. Technology changed. He used to run around with a camcorder. After that, it went to cell phones, iPhones, then iPads. So Jane Doe number 2, in or about and between 2003, 2004, Jane Doe 3 met Kelly at a mall. outside the state of Illinois when she was in her early 20s and working as a radio station intern. The defendant thereafter invited Jane Doe number 2 to travel to Chicago, purportedly to conduct an interview of him. Following her arrival in Chicago, Jane Doe number 3 was directed to a recording studio. Once there, she was escorted to a bedroom within the studio by one of the defendant's associates, who also took and searched her suitcase. Later, while in the room, another associate made a copy of Jane Doe number 2's driver's license, directed her to sign what she believed to be a non-disclosure agreement, and advised her not to talk to anyone and to keep her head down. Jane Doe number 3 ultimately spent approximately 3 days in the bedroom, which was locked without sustenance. After a member of the enterprise provided her with food and drink, she became tired and dizzy. She woke up sometime thereafter to the defendant with her in the bedroom in circumstances that made clear he had sexually assaulted her while she was unconscious. Jane Doe number 3. In May 2009, when Jane Doe number 3 was 16 years old and the defendant was in his early 40s, the defendant began a sexual relationship with Jane Doe number 3 in violation of the Illinois law, which ultimately lasted for a period of months. During this time period, on multiple occasions, the defendant produced sexually explicit photographs and videos of Jane Doe number 3 engaging in sexual intercourse and sexual contact with the defendant and others at his direction. In the course of their relationship, the defendant also engaged in a scheme and a plan and a pattern intended to cause Jane Doe number 3 to believe that if she did not perform certain sexual acts on him and others at his direction, she or her family members would suffer serious harm. The defendant engaged in a pattern of both physical and psychological abuse when Jane Doe number 3 disobeyed his sexual directives, including slapping, choking, and isolating her in rooms for days at a time with no access to food, which caused Jane Doe number 3 to believe such punishments would occur if she did not acquiesce and perform sexual acts she did not want to perform. In addition, the defendant caused Jane Doe number 3 to write and sign letters and other documents containing false information that, if released, could cause reputational harm to both her and her close family members as an additional means to exert control over her. Jane Doe number 4. Now, pay attention to Jane Doe number 4. Please pay attention to Jane Doe number 4. Jane Doe number 4, guys, is Jane Doe number 5 that Rkelly is out here on YouTube complaining about because his emails were given to her, allegedly, according to him, according to the rumors on the streets, because Tasha K said she gave it to the father. The father said he never received it. So my thing is, I think the young lady actually watched Tasha K. I think she just saw it. She watched the video and she knew that he was lying to her. Hold on 1 second, guys. Give me a moment. My son. All right, guys. Sorry, I'm back. Let's go to paperwork. Okay. So as I was saying, Jane Doe number 4 here in this first indictment is actually Jane Doe number 5 in the final indictment, which is labeled the indictment. So they scrapped this indictment, okay? But this is the one they started off with. So it says that Jane Doe number 4, in or about 2015, Jane Doe number 4, a minor and aspiring music artist, met the defendant after attending one of his concerts. Thereafter, at the defendant's suggestion, Jane Doe number 4 began traveling on a consistent basis with the defendant while he was on tour, at the defendant's direction, purportedly to learn about the music business, including to various locations, Connecticut, California, while Jane Doe number 4 was under 18 years old. In July of 2015, while Jane Doe number 4 was a minor, the defendant persuaded, induced, and coerced her to travel to Connecticut to engage in sexual activity with the defendant, in violation of Connecticut law. In October 2015, while Jane Doe number 4 was a minor, he persuaded, induced, and coerced Jane Doe number 4 to travel to California to engage in sexual activity with the defendant in violation of the California law. Now, Jane Doe number 5 here is Faith Rogers, okay, which is the girl that got herpes from Rkelly. This is how it all started, with her complaining about it, okay. Now, Jane Doe number 5 met the defendant following an Rkelly concert that she attended when she was 19 years old, at which time the defendant provided Jane Doe number 5 with his phone number. Thereafter, the two communicated by telephone. And in May of 2017, the defendant directed Jane Doe number 5 to contact an assistant to arrange for travel to and accommodations in New York to attend an Rkelly concert in Long Island, New York. Following the concert, Jane Doe number 5 returned to her hotel room in the early morning hours. The defendant unexpectedly arrived to Jane Doe 5's room and loudly announced his presence. Ultimately, the defendant's direction, the encounter became sexual in nature, and the two engaged in intercourse. The defendant did not use protection, and prior to the intercourse, the defendant did not divulge to Jane Doe number 5 that he had contracted an infectious venereal disease, aka herpes, in violation of the New York law. Notably, during the encounter in the hotel room, the defendant told Jane Doe number 5 in sum and substance that if she was really 15 or 16 years old, she could have told him, suggesting he would have preferred for Jane Doe number 5 to be younger. Thereafter, the defendant arranged for Jane Doe number 5 to travel to various locations throughout the United States to see him, including in 2018 of January to Los Angeles, California. During this trip, Jane Doe number 5 went to a recording studio in Los Angeles to see the defendant. Once at the studio, Jane Doe number 5 waited for many hours in a room without sustenance for the defendant to arrive. After briefly seeing him, the defendant did not show up again until the following day. After he arrived the following day, the defendant took Jane Doe number 5 into a smaller area room and instructed Jane Doe number 5 to take off her clothing. Jane Doe number 5 noticed a gun in the room, which the defendant moved to a piece of furniture nearby. He then proceeded to ask Jane Doe number 5 a series of questions, warning her there would be consequences if she lied. So, given the surrounding circumstances, Jane Doe number 5 believed she was not free to leave the room. Thereafter, the defendant directed Jane Doe number 5 to give him oral sex in the room. When agents executed a search warrant at the defendant's residence on July 11th of 2019, they found the holster and ammunition.
Can I have my controller back now?
Yes, give me a second.
Oh, look at me.
All right, give me 1 second, guys. Internet's bugging out. Let me check up that internet there. That's probably what's doing it too. Okay. Okay, guys. I'm sorry about that. My internet's bugging out. All right. Okay, guys. Let's okay. All right. Just trying to make sure. All right. So thereafter, the defendant arranged for Jane Doe to travel to various places. Okay, which the defendant moved to a piece of furniture nearby. Thereafter, the defendant directed Jane 5 to give him oral sex in the room. The defendant arranged for Jane Doe to travel a final time to see him in February 2018 in New York. While in New York, the defendant engaged in sexual activity with Jane Doe number 5. Again, he didn't say anything about him contracting an infectious venereal disease, and that was in violation of the New York law. And then Jane Doe number 5 stopped seeing the defendant after that. And she ultimately learned that she had contracted an infectious venereal disease during the course of a relationship with the defendant. Medical records confirmed that the defendant had an infectious venereal disease during the course of his sexual activity with Jane Doe number 5. So now they're just going to talk about the Northern District of Illinois' indictment in here. They spoke about the Illinois indictment too. So in the original indictment, they also spoke about his charges in the federal case against him. Okay. So they talked about that as well, right? All right. Now, let's go to okay, is the other indictment. All right, guys, let's do that. Okay. Now, this indictment here, the superseding indictment, which came out on March 12th of 2020. Now, this indictment is the indictment. The other two indictments were scrapped out. This is the original indictment now. This is the indictment they are going by now. Okay? So in here, as you can see, he's being charged with U.S.C., the United States codes, 1962C, 1963, 1963A, 1963M, 2421A, 2422A, 2422B, 2423A, 2, and 3551. Okay? So these are the charges under the codes. Okay? So now here it goes the defendant Robert Sylvester Kelly, also known as R. Kelly, and individuals who served as managers, bodyguards, drivers, personal assistants, and runners for R. Kelly, as well as members of Kelly's entourage, comprised an enterprise. The enterprise within the means of the 18 U.S.C. 1961. Now in here, it said 1962C and 1963, right? But here it says 1961-4. That is, the enterprise constituted a group of individuals associated in fact that was engaged in and the activities of which affected interstate foreign commerce. Now, anything interstate foreign commerce is what? A federal offense. Interstate and anything of any type of commerce, interstate or foreign, means federal laws. That's why he was charged federally, because he traveled with the girls from state to state. He traveled with his videos state to state. That's a federal offense, not a state offense. So the enterprise constituted an ongoing organization whose members functioned as a continuing unit for a common purpose of achieving the objectives of the enterprise. So the objectives of the enterprise were what? To promote Rkelly's brand, right? Sell tickets, sell music, records, CDs, T-shirts, buttons, things like that, right? Set them up to do concerts and things of this nature. These were the objectives, as well as getting girls for him to meet backstage, to where he would pick and choose his girls. He was a predator, preying and hunting and looking for girls to have sex with. Because according to his book, girls didn't really look at him too much. He was ugly and this and that and boo-hoo and all this stuff. He was a shy kid and all this bullshit, right? Right. So he picked up girls to have sex, and he figured out a way where he would have people under his control, because he's this big star who has money, and anyone will be willing to do anything for money and fame, and he knew that. So he said, people are going to take advantage of me, I'm going to take advantage of people. He knew what he was doing. He ain't stupid. He ain't as dumb as a lot of you think he is. His supporters think he's an idiot. He's slow. He's autistic and all this crazy shit. I mean, I can't. So the enterprise constituted for one common purpose, and that was to promote his music and get girls. Then it says the purpose of the enterprise was to promote Rkelly's music and his brand and recruit girls to engage in illegal sexual activity with Kelly and to produce pornography, including child pornography. By promoting Rkelly's music and his brand, the members of the enterprise expected to receive financial opportunities and personal benefits, including increased power and status within the enterprise. So these were the reasons why all these people were working for him. And he had a whole enterprise. He had a whole bunch of people working for him to help him move girls around, as well as help him to promote his business. In connection with the enterprise, Kelly and other members of the enterprise traveled throughout the United States and abroad to perform concert venues to promote Rkelly's brand and recruit girls to engage in illegal sexual activity. Now, when Kelly would attend and perform at concerts and other events, Kelly or his members of the enterprise, on Kelly's behalf, invited women and girls backstage and to other events following Kelly's live performances. These women and girls were often offered wristbands that signified that they were authorized to attend an event. So now when Kelly identified the women or girls he wished to see again, he either gave his contact information to women or girls or obtained her contact information or relied upon members of the enterprise to do so. Yeah, go get her number, ho over there. Following these events, Kelly communicated with certain of these women by telephone, including through the use of traditional telephone, text messages, iMessages, and FaceTime. As part of this communication, Kelly often requested that women and girls provide him with photographs of themselves. So, Kelly and other members of the enterprise also arranged for the women and girls to travel to see Kelly on occasion, including at concerts throughout the United States. To facilitate their travel, Kelly directed the women and girls to contact members of the enterprise, who then arranged the travel for them. When the women and the girls arrived to the lodge, which was typically selected by a member of the enterprise, a member of the enterprise usually provided them with instructions. In addition, members of the enterprise took steps to ensure that the women and the girls did not interact with other women and girls whom Kelly planned to see. Now, those text messages that came in and were brought in were to just prove how R. Kelly gave directions to his assistants to move the girls around. That's why those text messages were submitted into evidence. They didn't want to prove anything else about anything else except for the way his entourage moved around for him and how those girls got there. And when the girls and the members of the entourage then arranged for the women and the girls to attend his concerts and positioned them such that Kelly could see them during his concerts. All right, the girls got to sit over here in this corner. The girls got to sit behind me backstage in this corner. He would position the girls to be where he needed them to be. Now, he put numerous rules that many of his sexual partners were required to follow. The women and girls were not permitted to leave their rooms without permission from Kelly, including to eat or to go to the bathroom. The women had to wear baggy clothes when they were accompanying him or an event unless otherwise instructed by him. The women and the girls were not permitted to look at other men. Instead, were told to keep their heads down. And the girls were required to call Kelly daddy. Now, as we all know, in the sex trafficking world, okay, because we've been through this as well, the word daddy is another word for master, okay? It's another word for master. Remember, he had these girls as sex slaves. It's what they were. So now they're going to talk about the means and the methods of the enterprise, right? So this is a reason why he's doing 20 years in jail, because he did this racketeering bullshit, okay, by being an enterprise. And what was his means and his methods of being the enterprise? Now, what were the means and the methods of the enterprise? What were they? It had to do with all his associates, right? Said participated in the conduct of the affairs of the enterprise, which were the following: committing, attempting, and aiding and abetting the commission of crimes and conspiring to commit crimes, including but not limited to engaging in sexual activity with girls under 18 years old, engaging in and facilitating sexual activity without disclosing a sexually transmitted disease, producing child pornography, bribery, extortion, coercion, and blackmail, demanding absolute commitment to Kelly and not tolerating dissent, obtaining sensitive information about the partners and members and associates of the enterprise to maintain control over them, creating embarrassing and degrading videos of sexual partners to maintain control over them, recruiting and grooming sexual partners for Kelly, and isolating women and girls from friends and family and making them dependent on Kelly for their financial well-being. The defendant, Robert Kelly, also known as R. Kelly, was the leader of an enterprise. Okay? All right. So now in this one, count 1 was the actual racketeering to prove the enterprise, right? Count Racketeering Act 1, which is bribery. Okay, now this is a predicate act. So it's like a subcharge under the racketeering. So without this, you can't have a RICO. Without the enterprise, you can't have a RICO. Okay? Now, the other count, Racketeering Act 2, is sexual exploitation of a child. Okay? Count 3, Act 3, which is kidnapping. Shall I say Act 3, because counts will come up after. Racketeering Act 4, which is the Mann Act violation. And then they break it down here, what the Mann Act violation entails to, which is coercion and enticement and transportation. Racketeering Act 5, the Mann Act. Racketeering Act 6, forced labor. Racketeering Act 7, sexual exploitation of a child. Racketeering Act 8, Mann Act, which has to do with travel and coercion and enticement. Racketeering Act 9, Mann Act, transportation, coercion, and enticement. Racketeering Act 10, sexual exploitation of a child. Racketeering Act 11, forced labor. Racketeering Act 12, Mann Act. As we know, transportation, coercion, and enticement. Racketeering Act 13, forced labor. Racketeering Act 14, Mann Act, transportation and coercion. Now, then we have count 2, Mann Act, Jane Doe 5. Count 3, Mann Act, coercion and enticement, Jane Doe number 5. Count 4, Mann Act, coercion of a minor, Jane Doe number 5. Count 5, Mann Act, transportation of a minor, Jane Doe number 5. Count 6, Mann Act, transportation, Jane Doe number 6. Count 7, Jane Doe number 6, Mann Act, coercion and enticement. Count 8, Mann Act. Count 9, Mann Act. And then they have criminal forfeiture allegation as to count 1. Okay? So now let's see here. Now remember, Rkelly was charged with 9 counts, right? So the 1 count for Jane Doe number 6 is Mann Act, coercion and enticement. Count 8, Mann Act, transportation, Jane Doe number 6. Okay? Coercion and enticement and transportation, Jane Doe number 6. She's got 2 counts under her name. Then count 7, Mann Act, coercion and enticement, Jane Doe number 6. She's got 3 counts. Count 6, Mann Act, transportation, Jane Doe number 6. That's 4 counts, right? Wait, I don't want to lose my spot. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. 4 counts for Jane Doe number 6. Okay? Now, for Jane Doe number 5. So Jane Doe number 6 has 4 counts, guys. Okay? And Rkelly is saying that 95% of the charges had to do with Jane Doe number 5. Okay? Let's see how much 95% is those charges. Count 5 for Jane Doe number 5, Mann Act transportation. Count 4, Mann Act coercion of a minor, Jane Doe number 5. Count 3, Mann Act coercion and enticement, Jane Doe number 5. Count 2, Mann Act transportation, Jane Doe number 5. That was it. 4 charges for her and 4 charges for Faith. Four charges, right? Okay. Those were 4 charges on 4 different counts. Okay. And then the other one is the racketeering, which is 9 counts. So this guy, I tell you. So one was the racketeering, and it had a bunch of acts underneath, right? And then the other 8 were coercion. Okay. So remember, for the racketeering, they only have to prove 2 predicate acts. One here, which is bribery. Another, sexual exploitation of a child. Kidnapping. And the Mann Act violation. Now, they took out the kidnapping. He was not guilty of kidnapping. They took that out. They acquitted him of Racketeering Act 3. Okay. Sexual exploitation of a child, right? Bribery and kidnapping and the Mann Act. I believe those are the only 4 predicate acts. Yes. Yes, they are. Oh, and forced labor. And forced labor. Okay. 5 predicate acts under racketeering laws. And only one of them he was acquitted of. They didn't charge him with the kidnapping. But the sexual exploitation, the bribery, the forced labor, and the Mann Act is what he was actually charged with. That he wound up getting convicted for, shall I say. Okay? So that is that. I wanted you guys to really understand the breakdown of that indictment. I know this is a repeat and shit, but this is what he was charged with, man. This is what he was charged with. So now, right here is the reason why Rkelly is so mad. Because Azriel was the one who put the nail in his coffin. She did. She truly, truly did. Okay? That's why he's so upset. That's why he don't understand what happened. He's like, oh my God, Tasha K made my girlfriend mad, and she's the reason why she decided to flip on me. But he has to remember, did anybody tell him that Azriel already left him a long time ago? Did he know that? Did he know that she left in like November and shit? Like, did he know that? Does he realize that? Like, what the hell? She left way before she even decided to work with the government. She already knew what was going on with Tasha K and all that bullshit. She decided to fucking flip when she got into a fight with Joy. And she was like, I'm done. She tried to get her homegirl to leave. And she wouldn't. She was going up there to pick up the rest of her items to get out that house. They wound up in a fight. And Azriel said, fuck this. I'm not going to be this thing he wants me to be. I'm not going to be his victim anymore. I'm not going to hold his secrets anymore. Just like Rashana. Fuck holding his secrets. It's time that his secrets got out. Because he's been doing deviant things for a long time. And he's been doing it with little kids. Minors. Teenagers. Kids. As well as adults. But he took advantage of the children. He took advantage of some women as well. We know who they are. So this is the reason why he's upset right here. This document right here. Enclosed, please find the government's discovery in accordance with Rule 16 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure. This letter supplements the government's previous productions by letters dated August 15th of 2019, October 16, 2019, December 5th of 2019, and February 6th of 2020. The government also requests reciprocal discovery from the defendant. Now, the government's discovery contains documents and tangible objects. On or about January 9th of 2020, special agents with the New York Field Office of Homeland Security executed a search of 360 Kent Avenue, Elk Grove, Illinois, pursuant to a search warrant obtained on the same day. The government will provide a copy of the search warrant and affidavit in support of the search warrant as soon as the warrant is unsealed for the limited purpose of providing it to the defendant. The government seized the items described in the search warrant inventory, provided in Discovery Exhibit 141, and is providing copies of certain physical evidence that was seized in this discovery production. The government also seized numerous cell phones, iPads, computers, videotapes, and media, and is in the process of imaging and reviewing that material for items of those searches and will make the images of the devices available counsel. Shit. Hold on a second, guys. Okay, sorry about that, guys. All right. Okay. Okay. Okay, where were we? All right. Sorry, guys. So now, they were reviewing the material for items that are responsive to the search warrant. So the government will provide counsel with the results of those searches and will make the images of the devices available to counsel. So now, please also find enclosed a CD that contains the following items. Now, these items are subject to the terms of the protective order entered by the court on or about August 13th of 2019. Okay. Now, discovery exhibits. All right, 131 to 144. They have Empire CLS records for various individuals, including Jane Doe number 5. I don't know what CLS records would mean. I don't know. I don't even know what Empire is. Maybe it's a Uber service or something. Not sure. They have Mandalay Bay Hotel records for Jane Doe number 5 from May 2nd to 2015 to May 5th to 2015. They have business records. They have Tobin Center records related to a concert on March 7th, 2017. More business records. They have Montrose Hotel records for Jane Doe number 5 from April 29th to May 1st of 2015. They got Le Parc Suite Hotel records for various individuals from April 27, 2015 to May 1st of 2015. They got the Walgreens records for Jane Doe number 5, business records, Metropolitan Correctional Center Chicago records for Rkelly. So they even have MCC records for Rkelly. They have license plate recognition reports. They have text messages and phone contacts provided by Jane Doe number 5. They have photographs and videos of Jane Doe number 6 recovered from a device seized from Kelly's apartment in Chicago, Illinois, on or about July 11th of 2019. They have a list of items seized during the search of the storage facility located at 360 Kent Avenue, Elk Grove, Illinois, which is labeled as the storage facility, pursuant to January 9th of 2020 search warrant and property receipts for the seized items. Now, number 141, Rkelly's mad because Azriel gave up the storage facility. And without a lot of that stuff on the storage facility, Rkelly probably would have gotten less time. He still would have gotten convicted, but I think he would have gotten less time. I say 5 years would have been taken off at least. At least that. Maybe. It's just my opinion. So that's why he's upset. Because she gave up this storage facility. Hi, Mom. Thank you, Mom. Now, 142 says photographs and videos taken during the execution of the search of the storage facility on or about January 9, 2008. So now, the day after Rkelly's birthday, Rkelly's birthday is January 8th. January 9th, they went to the storage facility, and that is because of Jane Doe number 5. That's really why he's mad. Because she gave up that storage facility that put the nail in his coffin. And he knew that. He's out here being desperate, grabbing for straws that he can't even reach. He's drowning. Let him sit there and learn his lesson. He didn't learn his lesson in 3 years. Talking about, I learned my lesson. No, you fucking didn't. Shut the fuck up. No, you didn't. You can't even admit your wrongs. You ain't learned shit until you start writing each and every single one of those girls a letter stating that you're really sorry. And even that's not good enough. You ain't learned shit until you admit that you did all this shit. And until you decide to go for your sex offender classes and learn to keep your dick in your pants, you ain't learned shit. Shut up. Sit down. Have several seats with all the other inmates and do your time. Now, 142, photographs and videos taken during the execution of the search of storage facility on or about January 9th of 2020. Then they got copies of certain photographs and documents seized from the storage facility, including line items 271 to 311 and 318 to 399. Now, for the life of me, I can't find the other stuff, my other discovery material items. I don't know where they are. Now, 144, emails provided by a witness relating to 360 Kent Avenue, Elk Grove, and other premises used by Rkelly. Emails provided by a witness relating to 360 Kent Avenue. Emails provided by a witness relating to 360 Kent Avenue. So the person that worked at the forward storage facility wrote a letter or provided an email That's why he's mad, because of this right here. And because she testified against him. That's why he's mad. That's why he is big, big, big mad. Now, commercial sexual exploitation of children and sex trafficking. We're going to go through this real quick. So, commercial sexual exploitation of children. Okay? CSEC. That's also known as commercial sexual exploitation of children. CSE. Okay? Refers to a range of crimes and activities involving the sexual abuse or exploitation of a child for the financial benefit of any person or in exchange for anything of value, including monetary and, very important, non-monetary benefits. Do you understand that? Rkelly has been charged and convicted with sexual exploitation of children, minors, right? AKA sex trafficking, along with that. And it doesn't matter if he was getting money from it or not. It says including monetary and non-monetary benefits given or received by any person. Now, there are no federal national estimates of the extent and prevalence of CSEC in the United States due to a variety of issues, including general underreporting of the crime and the difficulties associated with identifying and measuring victims and perpetrators. Academic efforts to quantify the extent of the problem have included estimates that range from a few thousand to millions. When estimates are presented, they often come with numerous qualifiers and caveats. Now, commercial sexual exploitation manifests in numerous forms. Thank you, Poppy. Thank you, Ears. Hey, baby. What's up, brother? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm doing my little live over here about sex trafficking and the RICO and talking about Rkelly's indictment. I'm just trying to refresh everybody. So now, commercial sexual exploitation manifests in numerous forms, such as sex trafficking, prostitution, sex tourism, pornography, early marriage, performance in sexual venues, and online or electronic transmission of children engaged in sexual activities. So, how many of these things did Rkelly do? Let's see. Commercial sexual exploitation. Well, he did give the girls money and gifts after they were sexually exploited. So check on that. Such as sex trafficking. Yeah, he did travel with the young girls and women back and forth to do illegal sexual activity as well as debauchery, right? Okay. So check on that. Prostitution, no. Okay. Sex tourism, no. Pornography, yes, check. Early marriage, ooh, he married Aaliyah, right? Check. Performance in sexual venues. Let me see. Kitty Jones had mentioned about how, or was it Andrea? I don't remember. One of the girls, Lisa, Kitty, or Drea. One of those three women were at his concert, and he actually had sex on stage with them. Do you remember that? I don't remember which one of them it was, but I remember it was one of those three. Check on that. And online or electronic transmission of children engaged in sexual activities. Well, he did have electronic transmission, I guess by recording on his iPads, right? Right? Would that be electronic transmission of children engaged in sexual activities like Dominique and Nephew with Rkelly and Hallie Calhoun? Hallie Calhoun was an adult. Rkelly was an adult. I don't know if at the particular time when this video was made, they were all adults. I'm not sure. Or if they were minors at the time. We know that Hallie Calhoun was 19 when she met Rkelly, so she was an adult. But as far as Alex, Lewis, and Dominique, they were young. So if this stuff happened where there was actual video footage of Hallie Calhoun in it with Nephew, then that means it had to be years later because Hallie Calhoun didn't meet Rkelly until 2014, 15, 16, something like that, right? 14, 15, 16, something like that. I think 2016. So by that time, Louis and Dominique were already adults. But he still did pornography, okay? Which is here, pornography. Right? Right. The video with Rashawn Landfair, that was child pornography, right? So, yeah. Pictures of Azriel on his phone, that's transmission of children engaged in sexual activities. If he has videos of them two doing it when she was 17, yes, check. He has these things, right? Right. Sex trafficking is also a form of human trafficking. Now, human trafficking can appear in several other forms, including forced labor, like what Geronda Pace had said about. Faith had mentioned about forced labor as well. Okay? Azriel, I think, even was forced labor as well, too. Now, also bonded labor and involuntary domestic servitude, child soldier recruitment, and debt bondage among migrant laborers, and recent estimates by global organizations. Now, that has to do with worldwide sex trafficking. And it suggests that around 27 million people worldwide are current victims of human trafficking. Sex trafficking is most common in Europe, Central Asia, and the Americas. Now, governmental and non-governmental organizations define human trafficking as the exploitation of another person through the use of fraud, coercion, or force. This is where the coercion comes in. It's also used in sex trafficking and human trafficking. So this is how they were able to use this in a RICO, because coercion is part of that. Enticement, persuading, seducing. The U.S. Trafficking Victims Protection Act, also known as TVPA of 2000, states that any commercial sex act, if the person is under 18 years of age, regardless of whether any form of coercion is involved, is defined as human trafficking. Okay? So because there was forms of coercion involved, it is defined as human trafficking. Now, therefore, if the victim is considered a minor, then force, fraud, or coercion do not need to be established. Let's understand that again. Therefore, if the victim is considered a minor, then force, fraud, or coercion do not need to be established. The sex act is automatically sex trafficking. Now, can all you dumb, slow-ass motherfucking Rkelly groupies understand that shit? Rkelly, can you understand that shit? Can Whack 100, Kwame Brown, and all these other people that are out here putting up their fucking pom-poms for Rkelly and his delusional ass, listening to Sharon Wimbush and her stupid ass, and Levi out here being a fucking cheerleader for some stupid shit, knowing that your boy, your cousin, is guilty of all this shit? Break down the motherfucking law and the paperwork and understand what your cousin's charges are, as well as all you other slow motherfuckers in the background. Really, I'm tired of this. Y'all retarded. I don't understand how none of you people don't understand this shit. Word up. You want to understand what your boy is going down for? Do some research. Look at the fuck up. Understand what you're talking about before you come out here talking. Rkelly is not locked up for being a player. Get the fuck out of here. Stop it. He is out here for being a sex trafficker. Okay? That's why he got 30 years for coercion. Human trafficking. Now, a recent U.S. Department of Justice report found that 82% of suspected U.S. trafficking incidents between 2008 and 2010 were classified as sex trafficking. This included over 1,000 reported allegations of adult sex trafficking and over 1,000 incidents of child sex trafficking. Similarly, other studies have found that as many as 79% of human trafficking cases are identified as instances of sexual exploitation. A 2012 report by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime found that victims from 136 countries worldwide were trafficked in 118 countries, demonstrating the global impact and reach of human trafficking. Okay? How come I can't wait? Oh, I can't. All right. I wanted to put up the PDF, but I can't do it from. Oh, wait. No, I know what I'm doing. Like this. I'm going to look. Hold up. Is it going to let me copy it? Nope. Wait. There we go. Okay. Copy. Okay. Hey, Empress Lee. Welcome. Hey, 40 des Plata. What's up, puppy? What's up, baby? Thank you for the super chat, guys. Puzzle Pieces said, Tweedledee, Tweedledum asked, this is for the shout out earlier and for all the groupies. Nanya, I love you. Gracias, mi amor. Salute, ears. Salute to the streets. What's up, papi? Mom. Thanks, Mom. I love you. Thanks for stopping by. Mira este. Look at Levi for Kelly. Look what he said. Shout out to Whack 100. Oh, you just got home, papi? You listening, ears? All right, baby. What's up? I'm going to make you a mod, 40. I like your style. I like my boys, 40 and Carl. What's up, y'all? Hey, Charan. What's up, baby? What's up? Say welcome to the new people in the building, guys. Shout out to Cherie. What's up, mama? What's up, fat boy? Who else is in the building? I'm taking a quick break. Carl, What's up, Papi? Who else walked up in the building? I shouted out to Ears, Aisha, Nunya, T-Bam. Levi, shout out to your ass too. Jacqueline! Espérate, Jacqueline, because I wanted to give you a wrench back. Hold on. Espérate, Jacqueline. Let me find Jacqueline here. Can I see her here? I don't know if it'll go all the way up. Oh, I did give her thing back. Okay. T-Bone! What's up, T-Bone? Hi, baby. Tasha, you got your wrench back too. Okay. Oh, daughter of the Most High, what's up, my love? What's up, sis? West Coast, baby. What's up, mama? How come I see her over here, but I don't see her over here? That's crazy. Oh, there she goes. Okay. I was like, how come I see her over here? What the hell? Okay. All right, guys. So you guys know I have to break this down all over again. Now, this link that I dropped in this is the PDF that I have here that you guys see on the screen. All right. So for those who are interested and who would like to read it, please do. Okay. All right. I forgot what else was it. I wanted to. Okay. Now, the characteristics of child sexual exploitation, right, and sex trafficked children. Identifying victims of SEC and sex trafficking can be difficult because a general lack of public awareness about the issue, the reluctance of many exploited children to identify themselves as victims, and extreme measures taken by exploiters to hide their victims and their crimes. On average, children first fall victim to CSEC between the ages of 12 and 14. Many youth CSC victims tend to come from vulnerable populations with a serious history of previous abuse. Some research suggests victims are now increasingly younger because exploiters are worried about contracting HIV or AIDS from victims. So, research on people who are trafficked shows that victims, juvenile and adult, come from all backgrounds, sexes, nations, and economic levels. In a 2011 report by the Bureau of Justice Statistics on the characteristics of suspected human trafficking incidents, almost 95% of sex trafficked victims were female. Over half, 54%, were 17 years of age or younger. And about 1/5 of the victims were white, 1/5 of Hispanic Latino origin, and 1/3 were Black African American. The vast majority of sex trafficking victims were U.S. citizens of permanent U.S. residence, approximately 77%, while less than 15% were undocumented or qualified aliens. So the degree of traumatization experienced by sex trafficking victims, child victims of sexual exploitation as well, is well documented. Sexually exploited persons suffer from high rates of post-traumatic stress disorder, Stockholm syndrome, memory loss, aggression, fear, depression, anxiety, hostility, anger issues, sexually transmitted diseases, infections, STDs, STIs, physical trauma from beatings, and emotional and physical emotional and psychological trauma from engaging in unwanted sex. Again, sexual exploitation has to deal with unwanted sex. Do you think Azriel wanted to have sex with Rkelly and everybody else he brought to her? Do you honestly think that that's what she wanted? You people on the other side, you honestly think that these girls wanted to be having unwanted sex with Rkelly? Because if they didn't feel like having sex, they had to do it anyway. They were forced to do it. They had Stockholm syndrome, man. They had fear. They had anxiety. They went through depression. They even some of them got sexually transmitted diseases. They got scars from beatings. They have emotional and psychological trauma from unwanted sex. Do you think those girls wanted to have sex 4 or 5 times a day? Do you think that? Really? Now, the degree of traumatization experienced by sexual exploitation victims is well documented. It's very well documented. Now, furthermore, minors exploited through prostitution are 70 to 90% more likely than non-exploited youth to have been victims of child abuse. And they are also 28 times more likely to be arrested for prostitution in their lifetime. So in other words, a lot of times, girls and boys who were exploited through prostitution, a lot of them were abused as children. There was child abuse somewhere. Or some of them just run away from home. It doesn't have to be because of sexual abuse in the home. It could be because they're mad at their parents because they don't want to listen to rules and they think they're grown. And then they have no other choice but to survive by doing some type of prostitution. That's another way. That's how they get picked up by pimps. That's how they get exploited. It's called survival. A lot of these things get done because the victim needs to survive. Surviving Rkelly. Hence why they named it and titled it Surviving Rkelly. Because these girls did what they had to do to survive, to be with him. They became codependent on him. This is what he wanted. This is why he took them away from their families, distanced them, separated them, so they could be codependent on him for everything. He manipulated them with love bombing. Oh, I love you, and this, oh, here's some money for you. Go buy a bag, go do your hair. You know I love you. Don't leave me. You can't leave me. No, please. I love you. I'm sorry. And then she goes, okay, Rkelly, I love you too. That's how he holds them hostage. Psychological. He didn't have to chain them up. Psychological. Psychological. Emotional. Now, many risk factors at the societal, community, and relationships and individual levels increase youth's vulnerability to sexual exploitation. The individual level factors include sexual or physical abuse of maltreatment, being a runaway or homeless, system involvement, such as with the juvenile justice system and child welfare systems, being lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, substance abuse, early puberty maturation, and early adversity experiences. In addition, CSEC victims also tend to suffer higher rates of poverty and live in high crime neighborhoods, environments, and have increased rates of mental health issues and higher rates of substance abuse. Use, they actually use it, or the parents who abuse or use substances. So those are less likely to be educated or exposed to employment opportunities. So, they become products of their environment because they need to survive, right? So, societal risk factors include glorification of the pimp culture, which is what a lot of you Rkelly supporters are doing right now. Yous are supporting the pimp culture. Objectification of women and girls, gender bias, and widespread use of internet and social media. Environmental risk factors that allow for higher rates of child sexual exploitation and sex trafficking of children, including geographical areas with large and international airports. Okay. I don't know if that was all. I believe that was it. Okay, survival sex. Survival sex is another type of entry into commercial sexual exploitation. Now, I need you to understand survival sex. This is also commercial sexual exploitation. This is a part of the non-monetary gain section, y'all. You don't need to have monetary gain for it to be a commercial sex act, okay? It's called survival sex, which is what a lot of these girls did. And boys. Can't forget the boys. Now, survival sex is another type of entry into commercial sexual exploitation, where sex is exchanged for necessities, such as food or housing. These girls were doing survival sex. They were having survival sex. Please understand this. Gang involvement is another common entry for girls into sexual exploitation. Girls are seen as having little to no value other than how they can be used, such as for the sexual gratification of male gang members like Rkelly. He isn't a gang member, but he runs with GDs. He ran with the Nation of Islam dudes, right? And another gang, I forgot the name of the crew, darn it. I can't think of the name. What was the name of that other? Oh my God, guys, please somebody tell me the other name of the gang he ran with. Now, traffickers, commonly called pimps. Okay, so Rkelly's a pimp, y'all. It's a fucking pimp. Play another large role in the recruitment and subsequent sexual exploitation of children. They prey upon children from disadvantaged homes, settings, and exploit victims through promise of love, food, money, or shelter. Several different types of pimps participate in child sexual exploitation. The term gorilla pimp, okay, is used when a child has been kidnapped and held against his or her will. This type of pimp is likely to use violence and intimidation to force victims to comply. Now, they also have the Romeo pimp. Now, the Romeo pimp is also referred to as the boyfriend pimp. That's the one Rkelly is. He's the boyfriend pimp. I'm your boyfriend and a pimp at the same time. Because I'm a trick and you're my hoe. And I'm going to pay you to fuck me. That's his attitude. And you're going to do what I say because I pay you to do it. This type of pimp is likely to use violence and intimidation to force victims to comply. Now, the Romeo pimp is also referred to as the boyfriend pimp, right? Now, he will use courtship techniques to romance the girls and make them feel special and appreciated. Once he has charmed and manipulated them, he then introduces the idea of selling sex. But see, in this situation, he's not out there giving the girls and making money off the girls. He's the trick. He's the one that's paying for the pussy. You see how that works? He's the pimp that has sex with his own hoes. Because that's what he calls them in all his songs. Hoes. Right? So this is how he's looking at these girls that he's pimping out, that he's pretending to be their boyfriend. Romancing them and making them feel special. You know. Oh, Bear. Oh, Cookie. Ooh. Right? Right. Let me see. Well, what was the other thing? There was something else I believe I wanted to read from here. Okay, this was just the training. Okay. Combating it. Okay. Harbor laws. Okay. I think that was it. Okay, we're gonna take a break real quick. I gotta go to the ladies' room, guys. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
You are watching Diva Divine Light.
You can fuck with me if these red bottoms, these bloody shoes. Hit the scoop, I can get them both. I don't want tools, and I'm quick. Cut every nigga off. so don't get comfortable. Look, I don't dance now, I make money move. Now I gotta dance, I make money move. If I see you now, that means I don't fuck with you. I'm a boss, you a worker, bitch. I make bloody move. Now she say, gon' do what or who? Let's find out and see. Cardi B, you know where I'm at, you know where I be. Just a party, I'm there, I can play. I be in and out the gang so much, I know they tired of me. Honest.
All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had to take a quick break. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you hit that like button, y'all. All right. Let me get this, hide this current. All right. Let me see here. Let me go back to my paperwork. What was I at? Okay, I was here. All right, so we did that. We did that. Trying to get rid of a lot of stuff here, so I don't have so much shit open. All right, now I'm just gonna get that prepared. All right, but this was the other one I wanted to look at. Okay, now. All right, guys. So now we're gonna talk about the RICO. Okay. Now, this is the RICO guideline, okay? And RICO, as we know, is the abbreviation for Racketeer, Influenced, Corrupt Organizations, okay? And this is the guideline from 2018. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, the purpose of this is to provide a general overview of the pertinent statutes, sentencing guidelines, and relevant case law regarding the Racketeer Influence Corruption, the Corrupt Organizations Act. As we know, the RICO Act, or simply known as RICO. Okay. Now, this primary focuses on application of the RICO guidelines and some sentencing issues. It is not intended as a comprehensive compilation of case law addressing these issues, or as a substitute for independent research and primary authority. Now, he was accused of what? 1962C and 1963, 63A, 63M, right? So sections 1962A, B, and C set forth the substantive prohibitive activities. Section 1962D makes it unlawful to conspire to commit any such prohibited activities. So section 1962D has to deal with conspiracy, okay? So now, each of the prohibited activities includes as a necessary element, which is the proof of a pattern of racketeering activity or collection of an unlawful debt. Okay. That the collection of an unlawful debt has to do with a civil RICO. Okay. Now, 18 U.S.C. 1962C. In this section, it makes it unlawful for any person employed by or associated with any enterprise engaged in or affecting interstate or foreign commerce to conduct or participate directly or indirectly in the conduct of such enterprises' affairs through a pattern of racketeering activity or collection of unlawful debt. For example, employees of the New York State Department of Motor Vehicles violated this provision by using the DMV to process fraudulent licenses and registrations for stolen vehicles in exchange for money. That's just an example. Now, Section 1962C requires that the existence of two distinct entities, which is a person and an enterprise. So you got Rkelly as the person and his commission as the enterprise. Now, that is not simply the same person referred to by a different name. So, criminal liability depends on showing that the person conducted or participated in the conduct of the enterprise's affairs. So, for purposes of RICO, a corporate employee, a natural person, is distinct from the corporation itself. So, a legally different entity with different rights and responsibilities due to its different legal status, even where the employee is the corporation's sole owner. Do you hear that? Levi, you still in there, Levi? Levi! One man is an enterprise. One man is a enterprise. Debo! Debo and everybody else in the back. You slow people in the back. Please listen. Understand what you are listening to. Please understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. Okay? I know I have an accent, y'all. I know I have an accent. And I, kind of get tongue tied, but please listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Now, the enterprise is proved by evidence of an ongoing organization or by evidence that various associates function as a continuing unit. That means everybody moves the same. Everybody moves around. And they've been doing this for over 2 decades. Continuing unit. From 1991 all the way to 2019 when he got locked up. Okay? A continuing unit. While the pattern of racketeering activity is proved by evidence of at least 2 racketeering acts committed by participants in the enterprise. And he was charged with 5, but got convicted of 4. Forced labor, man acts, sexual exploitation, and being an enterprise. 4. They were all proven. They had to prove that he was an enterprise first. And then the other 3 follow. The other 3 racketeering acts. They had to prove he was an enterprise and the 3 racketeering acts behind it. Forced labor, sexual exploitation, and the Mann Act. Let's understand that. Okay? Levi, do you understand that? Do you understand, Levi? Please, Jesus. Please. And everybody else that's out there that's like, duh. Everybody else that's out there is like a fucking taran. Everybody out there is a fucking taran. Please, let's stop being tarantans, okay? It's already going on 4 years, going into 5 years. I don't even know the count anymore. Really. Now, 1961 definitions. The RICO Act broadly defines certain terms and concepts used in statute, including the following. Racketeering activity. RICO defines racketeering activity as any crime enumerated in subdivisions A through G of the subsection. Notably, the listed crimes are often referred to as predicate acts. Okay? So bribery is a predicate act. Robbery is a predicate act. Arson, a predicate act. Extortion, exploitation, kidnapping, murder. Subdivision A includes any act or threat involving listed state offenses such as murder, kidnapping, gambling, arson, robbery, bribery, extortion, and other serious crimes. Punishable by imprisonment for more than 1 year. This definition does not list specific state statutes. Rather, as the Supreme Court has held in the context of plea bargaining, a state statutory offense may constitute a racketeering act under subdivision A, provided it substantially conforms to the generic definition of the state offense referenced at the time RICO was enacted. Further, the language chargeable under the state law means that offense was chargeable under the state law at the time the underlying conduct was committed. Moreover, even if a defendant is acquitted in state court of a state offense referenced in subdivision A, the state offense may nonetheless be charged as a predicate racketeering act. Okay. All right, we don't have to read that because that's not part of it. Okay. Pattern of racketeering. A pattern of racketeering activity requires at least 2 acts of racketeering activity, one of which occurred after the effective date of the RICO statute, and the last of which occurred within 10 years after the commission of a prior racketeering act. So we know that the Racketeering Act was in what? 1970, right? So anything from 1970 and on, within a 10-year limit, okay? The 10-year limitation excludes, the 10-year limitation excludes any period of imprisonment. As the Supreme Court has held, establishing a pattern of racketeering activity requires more than simply proving 2 racketeering acts within a statutorily prescribed time period. There must also be proof that the racketeering acts are related to and amount to or pose a threat of continued criminal activity. Okay? Okay. Now, person. For purposes of the RICO Act, a person includes any individual or entity capable of holding a legal or beneficial interest in property. Any individual, a person, includes any individual or entity. So it could be the one person or it could be many persons. Okay? Enterprise. An enterprise includes any individual, partnership, corporation, association, or other legal entity, and any union or group of individuals associated in fact, although not a legal entity. What the hell happened? Okay? Let's get that shit right. Now, this definition addresses two categories of associations. The first encompasses organizations such as corporations and partnerships and other legal entities. The second covers any union or group of individuals associated in fact, although not a legal entity. Each category describes a separate type of enterprise covered by the statute, those that are recognized as legal entities and those that are not. Thus, as the Supreme Court has held, the term enterprise includes both legitimate and illegitimate enterprises. So the enterprise that is referred to in Section 1962A and B is acquired through an unlawful pattern of racketeering activity or by money obtained from an unlawful pattern of racketeering activity. By contrast, the enterprise referred to in Section 1962C is the vehicle through which the unlawful pattern of racketeering is committed. The Supreme Court has held that RICO both protects a legitimate enterprise from those who would use unlawful acts to victimize it and also protects the public from those who would unlawfully use an enterprise, whether legitimate or illegitimate, as a vehicle through which unlawful activity is committed. Thus, the court recognized that under Section 1962C and D, a legitimate enterprise may be the victim of racketeering activity. Now, they talk about 1963 in his case, too, right? So 1962C, 1963, 1963A, and 1963M. Now, the RICO Act establishes criminal penalties for a violation of Section 1962 pursuant to Section 1963A. A violation of Section 1962 is punishable by a fine or a term of imprisonment not to exceed 20 years or both. Do you understand that? So, in violation of Section 1962, which is what he is being charged with under this law, it is punishable by a fine or a term of imprisonment not to exceed 20 years or both. He could get a fine or he can get 20 years for racketeering, for the RICO. So, like I said, he got 20 years for the RICO, and then he got an extra 10 just for being a prick. How about that? For abusing these girls. He just got an extra 10 because he thinks he's fucking slick. That's why he got an extra 10, because the judge said, fuck you. You deserve to sit in there for 10 extra years. Okay. Right. Now, in addition, 1963A mandates forfeiture to the United States, irrespective of any provision of state law, of all property, including any property interest acquired or maintained in violation of 1962. So, again, the reason why Rkelly's money is being confiscated the way they're doing it is because of the 1963 statute, which mandates forfeiture. Any interest, security claim, or source of influence in the RICO enterprise, and any proceeds from the racketeering activity or unlawful debt collections. Now, Section 1963D through M set forth certain actions and procedures that the government may take upon a court order regarding the disposition of property forfeited pursuant to the criminal forfeiture provision of the RICO. Now, RICO criminal forfeiture is to be imposed in addition to any other sentence for a violation of Section 1962. A criminal forfeiture award is a part of the defendant's sentence and not part of the substantive offense of conviction. So, of course, the forfeiture happens after he was convicted. Let's see what else I had here. Um, okay, this was, I think now it's going to talk about, yeah, the sentencing guidelines and stuff. I didn't want to get into that because that's just too much, too complicated. I don't really get that. Let's see what else I have here. All right, okay, this is still about the sentencing. So, right, what was the other one? What's the guidelines? Um, I remember the Bonjean was talking about the ex post facto law, and she brought it in here. Let's see. Okay, so the ex post facto law has to do with sentencing as well. Okay. All right, that's the end of that. Got that out the way as well. Okay. Now, this here is the criminal RICO manual. This is the actual manual, guys. This is the actual manual for the RICO for the prosecutors to use as their guidelines. Okay. Um, okay. I'm not gonna go through all that. Table of contents. Okay. Roll another one. Roll one, babe. I'm ready for one. Okay. Sorry, guys. I know that this is a lot of mumbo jumbo jargon that, this is probably like a boring live, but I feel like this information needs to be out there. And, I really want people to really understand why Kelly's in jail. Oh my God, where's all the, wait, what happened to all the stuff okay. Okay, it was just okay, I was just looking up the laws, okay. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to find everywhere where I didn't bookmark it like I should have. So I didn't have enough time because this manual is very, very long, y'all. Wait, but all these? Where's all my? I highlighted a bunch of stuff here. Where? Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm just going through it. Bear with me. I am so sorry. Okay. Now, when the RICO indictment includes a 1962C count or 1962D count that sets forth a specific pattern of racketeering, set forth the admissible evidence for each racketeering act, including the defendant's role in the racketeering act, and if any of the acts are based upon previously adjudicated conduct. Now, the review process can be time consuming, especially in light of the complexity of RICO prosecutions, and also because of the likelihood that modifications will be made to the indictment, information, or complaint, and the heavy workload of the reviewing attorneys. Therefore, unless extraordinary circumstances justify a shorter time frame, a period of at least 15 working days must be allowed for the review process. Then when it comes to post-indictment duties, once a criminal RICO complaint, information, or indictment has been approved and filed, it is the duty of the government's attorney handling the matter to submit to the OCGS, which is the criminal gang squad or some shit like that. I forgot what it is for. It has to do with crimes and gangs, criminal gangs and stuff like that. It is important that once the OCGS approval has been obtained and RICO charges have been instituted, dismissal of any of those charges or any plea that allows a defendant to avoid responsibility for the most serious racketeering act in the indictment must also be approved by the OCGS before the charges are dismissed or reduced in seriousness. This requirement for approval includes the dismissal or reduction of such charges as part of or pursuant to a plea agreement with any defendant. Approval for such dismissal or reduction should be obtained from OCGS before the plea offer, including such dismissal or reduction, is presented to a defendant. Now, in addition, the government attorney should keep OCGS informed of adverse decisions as noted above and legal problems that arise in the course of the case to enable OCGS to provide assistance and carry out its supervisory functions. So the OCGS is the ones that approve everything after it's done, the indictment is made and everything. They look it over, they make sure everything is right, and they double check it, triple check it. Then they say, well, listen, you have to take this out or you could add this. So they let you know what you could take out, what you could add, and if you can move forward, fix it if you need to, and things like that. So they do the approving of all of that. Okay. Now, excuse me, guys. Give me a second. I'm choking. Okay. So now, Section 1961 defines racketeering activity as any crime enumerated in some subdivisions. Okay, we read all of that before. Da 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 da. Okay. For example, courts have interpreted the term involving broadly to include conspiracies or attempts to commit subdivision A and D crimes as proper RICO predicates because these crimes involve the specified types of conduct and hence are not limited to a specified statutory provision. Similarly, solicitation may be considered an act involving specified offenses under subdivision A and D. A conspiracy, however, or attempt to commit an offense listed within subdivision B, C, D, E, F could not be a RICO predicate unless attempt or conspiracy is expressly included within the terms of the listed statutory offenses. So, okay. That is that. Let me see. Let me go on. I know it's a lot, guys. I know. So here they were just stating cases under the predicate acts. Okay. All right. Let me see. Like, this was a lot to go through, so guys, I'm sorry. Bear with me, okay? I'm trying to see where else I highlighted. Like I said, I did these things because I was doing it quick and I didn't get to highlight everything I wanted. This manual here is 556 pages long. Okay, just to let you know. Okay, so here they're talking about cases. Yeah. Underneath the conspiracy. Okay, so that's why I didn't highlight any of the stuff here because he was not charged with 1962D. So I didn't highlight any of this stuff. Damn, I wish I would. I don't know if let me double check and see if I did bookmark some stuff. I didn't. I didn't. Ugh, I hate that. I hate that I didn't do that, guys. I'm so sorry. Because it's easier when you bookmark it and stuff. But like I said, I was running through everything pretty quickly. So, and then was the rest. Oh my God. Mm. Unless I didn't get to highlight everything, I don't even remember. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of research behind the scenes and trying to get all this stuff together to. Okay. Um, I think we spoke about that, right? That a person. Okay, so person. We spoke about that. We spoke about that. We did mention that. The enterprise. We did mention that in the other. Okay. All right, so now the RICO definition of enterprise broadly encompasses many types of enterprises. Courts have given a broad reading to the term enterprise, noting that Congress mandated a liberal construction of the RICO statute in order to effectuate its remedial purposes, and pointing to the expansive use of the word includes. So, in the statutory definition of the term, courts have held that the list of enumerated entities in Section 1961(4) is not exhaustive but merely illustrative. Thus, the term enterprise includes commercial entities such as corporations, both foreign and domestic, partnerships, also sole proprietorships. Sole proprietorships. One man, sole, one man, and cooperatives, benevolent and nonprofit organizations such as unions and union benefit funds, schools, and political associations. The term enterprise also includes governmental units such as the offices of governors, mayors, state and congressional legislators, court and judicial offices, police departments and sheriff offices, county prosecutors offices, tax bureaus, fire departments, and executive departments and agencies, as well as municipalities. So all those are considered enterprises. Okay. The Seventh Circuit held that the statute of Illinois was properly charged as the RICO enterprise that was the victim of corrupt office holders' pattern of racketeering activity. A RICO enterprise may consist of, okay, although RICO definition of enterprise 18 U.S.C. 1961(4) does not specifically list an association of legal entities, it does not preclude such association. Section 1961(4) states that the term enterprise includes the various entities enumerated in that provision. 18 U.S.C. 1961-4, in definition, provisions of statutes or other writings, including is frequent, if not generally, used as a word of extension or enlargement rather than as one of limitation or numeration. And then it cites the case law here, holding that the definition of property contained in former Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 41H does not restrict or purport the exhaustively enumerate all the items which may be seized pursuant to Rule 41, and explaining that where the definition of the term Rule 41H was intended to be all-inclusive, it is introduced by the phrase to mean rather than to include. A limiting function to participle phrase introduced by including is in shrivel a versatile principle to an illustrative application. So defining include to mean inter alia. So whenever you see that word inter alia, okay, that means include, to place, to list, or to rate as part of component of a whole or of a larger group, class, or aggregate. When 18 U.S.C. 1961 is read as a whole, it is clear that the verb includes in section 1961-4 should be interpreted in that manner, and that the list that follows should be treated as illustrative rather than exclusive. In accordance with the above referenced principles, every court of appeals to address the question has agreed that a RICO enterprise may consist of an association in fact or legal entities, as well as an alliance of legal entities and individuals. As one court has noted, the definition of the term enterprise is of necessity a shifting one, given the fluid nature of criminal associations. Then it cites a case law about it, and then it says that in this case law, the Supreme Court granted a petition for a writ of certiorari to decide the question whether RICO definition of enterprise encompasses an association of a corporation and individuals. So, however, the Supreme Court dismissed the petition as improvidently granted without deciding that question. Now, when it comes to establishing a legal enterprise, usually there is little difficulty in proving the existence of an enterprise consisting of a legal entity. Proof that the entity in question has legal existence satisfies the enterprise element. So proof that a RICO enterprise consists of a governmental office, such as a state office or police department, is a legal entity, can be established in various ways. For example, if the government office or department was created by statute, regulation, or ordinance, a court can take judicial note of the statute, regulation, or ordinance authorizing the office or department. Now, if the governmental entity was created by a character or contrast, example, a joint task force, the charter or contract should be introduced into evidence. If the governmental entity is incorporated, example, a township, the articles of incorporation should be introduced into evidence. Testimony from the appropriate representative of the governmental entity could establish the existence of hierarchy or organizational structure and functions of the governmental entity, as well as explain the defendant's relationship to the governmental entity and his position or function within the governmental entity. So that's what Rkelly's the government had to do to prove that Rkelly was an enterprise. They had to make sure there was an existence of this entity, of this legal entity, and explain the relationship that the defendant has with the entity, and what's his position and what's his function. So employment records could also be used to establish the defendant's position in that entity, right? Now, in establishing an association in fact enterprise, right? In the United States versus Turquette, which is another case that happened back in 1981, the Supreme Court explicitly held that the enterprise element and the pattern of racketeering element of RICO were separate elements, and that an association in fact enterprise is proved by evidence of an ongoing organization, formal or informal, and by evidence that the various associations function as a continuing unit. The latter is proved by evidence of the requisite number of acts of racketeering committed by the participants in the enterprise. While the proof used to establish these separate elements may, in particular cases, coincide, proof of one does not necessarily establish the other. So the enterprise is not the pattern of racketeering activity. It is an entity separate and apart from the pattern of activity in which it engages in. So the existence of an enterprise at all times remains a separate element, which must be proved by the government. And they did, in fact, prove that. That's why he was convicted 20 years for that. Now it says that applying these standards, the Supreme Court rejected the lower court's conclusion that including wholly criminal associations within the definition of the term enterprise would amount to making the pattern of racketeering activity the enterprise. The court found sufficient government allegations that the enterprise consisted of a group of individuals associated, in fact, for the purpose of illegal trafficking in narcotics and other dangerous drugs, committing arson, utilizing the United States mails to defraud insurance companies, bribery, and attempting to bribe local police officers, and corruptly influencing and attempting to corruptly influence the outcome of a state court proceeding. Now, establishing that the members of the enterprise operated together in a coordinated manner in furtherance of a common purpose may be proven by a wide variety of direct and circumstantial evidence, including, but not limited to, inferences from the members' commission of similar racketeering acts in furtherance of a shared objective, financial ties, coordination of activities, community of interests and objectives, interlocking nature of the schemes, and overlapping nature of the wrongful conduct. Moreover, such evidence of the existence of the charged enterprise may be based on uncharged lawful conduct. This is where the uncharged bad acts come in, because they can be charged as the enterprise may be based on uncharged unlawful conduct. That's why they were able to take all those victim witnesses and add them as bad acts to the RICO, because this is evidence. Direct and circumstantial evidence. Furthermore, the requisite continuity of the enterprise and the functioning of its associates is not defeated merely because there is a gap or interruption in the racketeering activities of the enterprise, or the membership of the enterprise changes over time. So it doesn't matter if he took a break from doing criminal activity and then started again. It doesn't matter because it's still continuing over time. And it doesn't matter if he had the same employees for many years or he changed employees throughout the years. It doesn't matter. As the District of Columbia Circuit has stated, it is not essential that each and every person named in the indictment as a member of the enterprise be proven to be a part of the enterprise. Okay? Can we understand that? It doesn't matter. It is not essential that each and every person named in the indictment as a member of the enterprise be proven to be part of the enterprise. The enterprise may exist even if its membership changes over time, or if certain defendants are found by the fact finder, which is not to have been members at any time. Excuse me, guys. So, moreover, it is not necessary to prove that every member of the enterprise participated in or knew about all its activities. So now, can you guys also understand why a lot of these people were not charged in here? Because not every member of the enterprise participated in or knew about all its activities. Do you understand that, Levi? And everybody else out there that's slow, that doesn't do research? Rather, it is sufficient that the defendant know the general nature of the enterprise and know that the enterprise extends beyond his individual role. So it's more based on the fact that Rkelly knows the general nature of his enterprise and that he knows the extension beyond where his role of his people are. Nor is it necessary to prove that the enterprise or its members acted with criminal intent. It's not important when it comes to the statute of the law. Rather, the government need only establish that the defendant acted with requisite mens rea. Okay, and mens rea means knowing. Knowing. It only has to establish that the defendant acted to knowing what he was doing. Knowing that his people were out there doing his bidding. Knowing that people were aiding him. Now, subsequent to Turkett, which is what we were reading before, that, this is how this is all established through that case law in the Supreme Court, right? Now, the Court of Appeals took somewhat different positions regarding the necessary degree of structure for the enterprise and its distinctness from the pattern of racketeering activity. For example, the Eighth Circuit in the United States versus Bledsoe a case that happened in 1982, set a strict standard for measuring the degree of structure and distinctness required before an association, in fact, enterprise is established under RICO. Now, the court constructed Turkey to require that the enterprise exhibit 3 basic characteristics. One was a common or shared purpose, which animates those associated with the enterprise. 2, some continuity of structure and personality. And 3, an ascertainable structure distinct from the inherent in the conduct of a pattern of racketeering. So, as the third element, the court noted that the distinct structure might be demonstrated by proof that the group engaged in a diverse pattern of crimes, or that it had an organizational pattern or system of authority beyond the necessary to perpetrate the predicate crimes. Now, the Third Circuit adopted a similar test in the United States versus Rico Bean. The court held that 1, the enterprise must have an ongoing organization, formal or informal. 2, various associations of the enterprise must function as a continuing unit. The enterprise must have an existence separate and apart from the pattern of racketeering activity. And 3, the government must show hierarchical or consensual structure within the group for making decisions. And it's check on all of them. Check, check, check. Within the group for making decisions, and there must be some mechanism for controlling and directing the affairs of group on an ongoing basis. However, the court also held that it is unnecessary to show that the enterprise has a functioning, wholly unrelated to racketeering activity, only that the enterprise existed beyond the necessarily merely to commit each of the racketeering acts. The enterprise existed. They proved that. There were people who were willing to do his aiding and abetting. He had his runners and his managers and his bodyguards. All these people to help him out, to get these girls to him, and to help him with his music business. All right, so I'm really not going to read the rest of this because it's really long. We're at a page 100 anyway. So I just basically wanted to just break that stuff down. Simple, the best way that I can, that where I know, or that I think I know, that people will understand it. Oh my God. Did you really spam my chat with free Kelly? What do you mean? What the fuck you mean? True crime talks with me. What do you mean? You said free R. Kelly. What the fuck you mean? I mean, R. Kelly needs to keep his ass in jail. Where he going? He ain't going nowhere. Who wants him to go somewhere? You. We don't want him free. Let him sit his ass. You do the crime, you do the time. True crime talks with me. What? Boy, you better get on with that. What the hell is wrong with you? Yeah, go take a time out for 5 minutes and then you can come back with something better than that. Okay? Yes, please. Hit the like button, guys. Hit that like button. Subscribe and share. It's appreciated, y'all. Gracias. Next, he says they keep asking for him to be free. My question is, what the flying fuck for? To continue abusing kids? Because he ain't making music, that's for sure. Amen to that, sister. Okay. Hey, Tom Bella. What's up, mama? Hey, Aisha. Hey, LD. How are you, honey? All right. He said, free his ass from his cell to the yard and back to his cell on period. And the slow ass people on the other side got the nerve to be talking about free Rkelly. Miss me with the BS. Word up. Carl. What's up, Poppy? Sharon, what's up, baby? Hey, Miss J. What's up, mommy? How are you, baby? I'm glad you came over, lovely. Salute, salute, salute to the Wabbit crew in the building. The Wabbit hunters. Yes, they hunt wabbits. Silly wabbits. Tricks of kids. They be hunting those silly rabbits. So, guys, I am going to leave this here. Thank you for everyone that came over. I hope Levi was able to sit through this live and listen to everything and understand why his cousin is in jail for 30 years. Because 20 of those years has to do with his RICO, his racketeering charges of sexual exploitation, forced labor, bribery. Okay? And the Mann Act. So please, let's understand what is going on with Rkelly. Okay? Guys, don't forget, please hit that like button on your way out. And if you are new to the channel and you are not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, guys. Thank you very much for coming over to see your sister girl, Diva Divine Light. For those who are on the replay and you're watching the replay, please leave your comments in the comment section of the video below. Thank you very much. Thank you. And if you would like to donate, you can hit the super thanks. There's a little heart for the replay. You can always hit that and give me a super chat that way. For those who are on the replay, all right. And for those who want to just hit a sister up, you know my Cash App, Diva Divine Light. Oh, and I spelled it wrong here. Oh, I got to fix that. Oh, I got to fix that, y'all. Hello. You can't be having me people send money the wrong dealer. Let me fix that. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. So thank you once again for stopping by, y'all. And your girl, Diva Divine Light, is out. Peace.
You are watching Diva Divine Light.
You can fuck with me if these is red bottoms, these is bloody shoes. Hit the scoop, I can get them both. I don't want to choose, and I'm quick. Cut every nigga off, so don't get comfortable. Look, I don't dance now, I make money move. Now I gotta dance, I make money move. If I see you now, that means I don't bug with you. I'm a boss, you a worker, bitch. I make bloody move. Now she say, gon' do what or who? Let's find out and see. Cardi B, you know where I'm at, you know where I be. Just a party, I'm there, I can play. I be in and out the bank so much, I know they tired of me. Honest,